Controversy in the news this week on the subject of EV chargers and RCDs. Should they have a test button on them? We know everyone likes a test button. Do you actually use it is another matter that we'll come on to. Or should they be in the charger or back at the distribution board? Now the Swedish regulator is looking into that with the EZ charger, and we're going to dig into that a little bit further and share some of our opinions on that. And obviously my colleague Gary, who's a analog person stuck in a digital world, will probably have his view, and obviously I love my apps and technology and everything that goes with it, so it could be a lively debate. Now, when it comes to innovation, are regulations holding back innovation, particularly in these new markets like EV, or are they there just to protect us and should be stuck to rigidly like glue? To help us in our discussion tonight, we've got some fantastic guests. We've got pioneer of the EV block, who used to be an electrician but now has given up and is mixing concrete, Trevor Palmer, and along with him, EV installer Dean Haywood, who is taking EV installations to another level. He's got a fascinating story, so let's get on with the show.
Thank you for joining us here on eFIXX TV, our fortnightly stream. If you're watching it live, thank you very much, and make sure you get those comments in, because that will mean you'll get a shout out in the stream on our register. However, if you're watching it on catch up, this stream, please make sure you leave those comments, because it will drive the conversation maybe into the next stream, and we get back to as many of those comments as we can throughout the weeks. Now, we've got to thank the people that put light inside those lamps in here. So we'd like to thank the sponsors of our stream, and we'd like to thank the great people at Ludum Palazzoli. We'd like to thank the Lasico Group, Marshall Tufflex and Doncaster Cables, which are all of them, Gordon.
Well,
why I'm doing that is I've got a feeling with the topic that you've nicely set out in the start of this show, I think you're going to be doing a lot more talking for the first time in a long while than I am, because it's certainly in your world and not in mine. And talking of your world, it's not been so easy for some people this week, and obviously you've delved into a 16-page document that suggests you've got a bit of information to update us after the news that we had.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, EV charging, booming market. We've got our guests tonight who are hotly waiting in the green room. Let's just have a quick look.
Well,
oh, there they are.
They look familiar. Who have we got there?
Yes, there you go. Got Trevor and Dean there. We'll be seeing them later. And yeah, they can add to this debate, but we'll just we'll lay the carpet for them first, Gary.
Okay, let's go for it.
So we put a news out on Monday that EZ having some challenges with the safety regulators in terms of RCDs.
Yeah.
Because the EZ charger we looked at,
which we loved,
a couple of years ago.
Loved.
Yeah. Look at it. Just do your.
Yeah.
It's obviously inspired by one of Gary's favourite films.
From the Star Wars. Yeah. So this is the RCD you're looking for. Yeah. Okay. Is it the RCD you're looking for? I don't know. So yes. So that was not necessarily an issue, but it was certainly a good point for debate, wasn't it? My Star Wars inspired one's there, and it was around the RCDs, wasn't it? And you've delved into the 16-page document.
It does. Yeah. So a bit of background. Obviously, the RCD in there. There is one. It's all built into the electronics. We tested it. It works as you'd expect an RCD to do. Passed all the tests that the tester had programmed into it.
It makes logical sense. Anyone, and we've done it many times on the channel before, opened up an RCBO. It's obviously all electronics in there. They've just transferred that electronics in some way onto the actual charger itself. Obviously, the coil and the bimetal strip are part of the MCB, which is obviously nothing to do with the RCD.
Yeah, but then obviously when the Swedish Safety Authority opened, they were expecting to see a traditional RCD.
Right.
But they didn't find one, so okay, they put us a report and there's news items out there, and we obviously asked EZ about it because views on our video testing it went through the roof, and we started getting lots of emails from Swedish people. Yeah,
Swedish people joined in on that video because we pretty much had the video that tested the RCD that was in question, didn't we?
And sometimes this happens, and so it's a challenge because what EZ have done, because we're in a new technology area, they've applied bits of the standard for EV chargers,
right? Okay,
and bits of the RCD standard that exists, and said, well, between all these standards, our product is as safe as anything out there.
So we took a bit of one, a bit of another. We've created something that works.
Yep.
Yeah, that they believe is compliant. However, it comes a little bit of a grey area, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's, and I've been through this a few times. Standards people are not very good at predicting the future.
Well, you held back well there, didn't you?
Yeah. I could say they're a little bit old. The people on there tends to be the people in an industry.
Yep.
So I can imagine on the RCD standards, there's people who make RCDs.
There is.
And they haven't changed for a while.
Right, no, they haven't, no.
So, quite established technology. And obviously they didn't predict that EV chargers had come along and they'd have RCDs built in them. So that's a challenge. And I've been through this in the past with the early days of LED lights.
Oh, here we go. Is it early to go for the popcorn just with all of it?
Not
So
quite
tell
yet.
us about your stories about LEDs, Gordon, that isn't on the subject.
But the first LEDs came in,
Yep.
they were actually, the standards people were treated as lasers.
Lasers.
Yeah, they fell under the same standard of lasers.
You wouldn't want to look at a laser, though, wouldn't you? And that's the whole thing about lasers, isn't it? You keep your eyes away.
And that frightened people, because there was all sorts in the news of French school children having their retinas burned out and all sorts of stuff. And you'd go to a trade show and people would be wearing like special glasses.
Oh, wow.
People would be selling special glasses. And I've got a slide. I'll bring one in because I leaned into this at the time. I was making LED lights, so I made some special T-shirts.
Right. Okay.
I think I've got one here.
Oh,
I found one at home actually from the day, and I had this logo printed on the back. Big scary LED. Do not look into the light with the remaining eye.
Wow. If nothing else, folks, as you look at that T-shirt, a bit of respect there, I would suggest. Gordon, it looks like you've trimmed down a lot since you owned that the first time round. Look at how massive that was. You were a big guy back in the day.
I was predicting I was going to meet you in the future, Gary.
I'm going to let me T-shirt. Yeah, I love it.
So there's that one. And, if you just bring that slide back in, Rick.
So with your one good eye, yeah.
Yeah,
So
your one good eye. And at
got
the
a
same time,
scary oil
we
rig.
managed to get LEDs through the approvals process to get them onto an oil rig.
Okay.
Took about 5 years. But again, because standards people aren't used to seeing new technology, it was you go to standards people saying, we've got this LED, and they don't know what to do with it.
I'm not suggesting that the LED lights were put on there to save energy, though, were they? What was the reason behind the LEDs going onto there?
Because maintenance on oil rigs is horrendously expensive.
Logical sense, and LEDs last for a considerable amount more time.
I think that rig was £250,000 a day rental.
Wow. You'd want to work in the dark then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so you want your LEDs working. But, it got through, and I think to a degree, we're in that stage with EV chargers and stuff like that. And look what happened with pen fault protection when we started. So, remember...
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Remember when we used to fit EV chargers with earth rods? Because that was what we were supposed to do.
Absolutely. And then there's some issues, obviously, we go through how close that was to something else that was earthed.
And in the regs, there was a clause that said, the new technology might come along that doesn't exist now.
Was that what they called the unicorn technology? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the unicorn device.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So the unicorn device is now known as?
Yeah, it's pen fault protection. My Energy were first out the blocks with it. Remember, we worked hard to get one of those chargers. That review's still out there. It hasn't flared up recently, but it could do. And so people did that. And then Amendment 1 came out pretty quickly.
Instantly.
Which was never done before, was it, in the regs? That was quick out, and that brought in more requirements for what these mythical devices that now did exist are.
So the pen fault stuff's out there, we trust it, we found this unicorn device, so that must meet all the standards required, because obviously we're using it and there's no hoopla about those, and we're not worried about those, so they meet the standards, do they?
Well, there is no standard for them yet.
Right, so let's just unpack that a second. So we've got a little bit of an issue maybe about the EZ, which is obviously what it's doing.
The novel approach.
Novel approach, I like that. Yeah. Novel approach, I like that. So leading innovation, okay, it's leading innovation. And we're mildly untrustworthy of it now. And then we've got the pen fault protection, the unicorn device that hasn't met the standards yet.
Because they haven't finished writing them. So
wow.
We're quite happy to fit the pen fault and we like it, yeah? And then people are nervous about RCDs.
That meet across two standards, picking bits of both. You're well done for coming up with that one.
So I dug in, and Easy have been great on this, actually, because they sent me the document they'd sent back to the Swedish regulator. And it's a good read. We didn't all put it in the news because it's 16 pages.
Right.
And I think it is publicly available, will be pretty soon.
Well, you're leaving a link for it in the description.
I'll try to.
On the Dropbox you got.
And the other question people ask about RCDs on these built-in ones is, where's the test button?
Right. Okay.
Yep. You love a test button, Gary.
Well, yeah, okay. So FE background, taught for those 19 years, lots of exam questions around RCDs. Okay, a lot more simpler maybe than they are now. And the question was, how often do you need to test an RCD? For maximum intervals was quarterly, every 3 months. Loved it and loved it and loved it and went all the way through. Before my career ended, we got to the point where it was every 6 months as a maximum interval between it, that we should press it. And that's what I pushed and pushed and pushed. However, like, was it cobbler's kids have the worst shoes? I've lived in my property now for, I think, 16 years, and I've yet to press any of the buttons on any of the devices to prove they work. But I'm fully aware of the sticker.
I suspect the general public don't do that. Yeah. So we sent Joe out on a little mission.
Okay, Joe's on a mission.
Here at eFIXX, we don't think that the general public tests their RCDs regular enough. So let's go ask a man on the street. Follow me. think we found one here. Got fast fit tyres. Hello, is anyone here?
Yes.
Oh, here he is. How are we doing, sir?
All right, yes.
Wonderful. All right, so I've got a few questions for you if you'd be happy to oblige.
Yes, go on, go ahead.
So the first one, have you tested your RCD?
RCD, what's that?
RCD, it stands for residual current device.
Oh no, I don't know what it is.
Earth leakage circuit breaker. Does that ring a bell?
No, no.
Right,
No.
so it's might be referred to as a trip switch.
Never heard it before.
Still no. So it's in your consumer unit. Do you know where your consumer unit is?
No, no.
No. Well, fuse box, was that?
Oh yeah, fuse box is in there, but
Fuse
it's locked back there in there.
Right, well, could you show me where it is, please?
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah.
It's
in there
tip
somewhere.
over.
It's in there. In there.
Whoa, behind a wall of tyres. Let's
Yeah.
have a look at this.
Yeah, yeah.
Behind a wall of tyres. I think if that tripped out, you'd have more of a chance of tripping over getting to it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a box there. It's got lock on it.
Yeah. So, did you know you're supposed to test that regularly?
No, no,
No.
no.
Well, there you have it. Regular public, don't test their RCDs.
Next team meeting we have, I need to discuss why Joe's getting all the best segments. So now he's out on the street. He's got a bit of a whiff of doorstop with the Daz challenge, hasn't it? Would he be?
He's not old enough to remember that, Karen.
Would he be Baker or would he be the other one? Okay, I don't know. So yeah, typical there. I would suggest. How many people test their RCDs? Again, great chance to get a comment. And are you a regular tester of RCDs? Are you the sort of person that really push it when you've done an install? Are you typical? Maybe like the rest of us.
Yeah. So here's my view after digging through this extensive document. Yeah. So what Easy have done is in the RCD standard.
Yep.
It says there should be a facility to test it. Should be provided. Yeah.
So a facility.
Yeah.
That's a little bit open. It didn't say button.
Doesn't say test button.
It's facility. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And then in the EV charger standard,
Yeah.
it says there shall be a way of testing it that can be automatic
Right.
or otherwise.
Oh, I like automatic.
Yeah. So my thinking, right? So we've just proved that man in the street doesn't test his or woman in the street or anybody in the street.
They don't test it.
They don't test it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're probably interacting with that charger with an app.
Huh?
So the charger, they're all smart. So
Yeah.
the charger could test itself and tell you through the app that it hasn't worked.
So we could send you a message
To test it.
to test it. I love all of those things. But I think I've heard in the past, and I think it was you that brought my attention to it, isn't there RCDs out there that test themselves?
Yeah. So you can get. Now, let's think of that other thing. What's recently come in, that other device that everybody loves?
AFDDs, nice and cheap. Yeah, bang a few
Now
of
there's
those
a
in.
test button on there, guys. What does that test?
The RCD.
Yeah. So it doesn't actually. So the AFDD element doesn't test it. We can't test it. There's no testers out there to test them.
Don't test the MCB.
And you don't test the MCB because you'd wreck them.
We don't trust those RCDs, though, do we?
Yeah. So we've left in this strange situation where the AFDD tests itself. We don't test MCBs, and yet we still want to have this little test button for the RCD.
Yeah, and again, I don't know, I might be wrong here, but when we did it, so because those early ones, it's essentially the mechanism's got to move, but this is electronic. What moving parts are there in electronic RCD?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see, they used to say, didn't they, when you were doing test inspection course, now, do you test the RCD test button first before you do the test? You've warmed it up and given it a bit of a chance, it's moved itself after all those years. Well, it's electronic, nothing's moving, is it?
Yeah. So this is, that's my opinion. I'm quite comfortable with them in there. Makes installation a lot easy. Some people are saying, oh, we could easy. That's simple if it's other chargers. So I'm quite comfortable in that. I'm pretty confident about that device. Obviously, this is going to rumble on for a while. Obviously, standards will change. I'm sure the great and the good will be assembled into a room like they've done with Penfold devices, and that a standard will drop out. But it brings up that question of innovation everywhere. The world's moving quite quickly where we are now.
Yes.
We've got, obviously, solar battery, and we had the IET in just before Christmas, and they took one glance at our wall and just said, ooh, well, that's not compliant.
Yeah.
So we already know. We already know before we put our stuff out there.
We got to,
Coming down the road for that as well.
Yeah.
But, I looked at, we're a little bit behind consumer units. Yeah.
We're miles behind. Let's not say a little bit behind. How many times have we done it? You've done it many a times. You've sniffed around abroad, haven't you? And you see time clocks, you see all sorts of other things rammed inside that board that no one's bothered about.
Yeah. Look at this one from the Netherlands. So I think we've got one from the
actually
Netherlands.
Let's have a look.
So this is a consumer unit sent in from the Netherlands.
Okay.
What's interesting about it, they're double pole MCBs, that they still rely heavily on split loads.
Yeah.
Screwless terminals on the output.
Oh, good spot, yes.
bus bar underneath that's distributing both the line and the line and the.
You said underneath. You mean on the top? Is that?
No, you see, a bit like the Crabtree ones. You see down where that one's gap, where that one's missing.
Oh yeah, where you see the missing ones. Yeah, where you've got the 2 prongs effectively.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yes. Yeah. So you're picking up both the line and neutral by a clip or pins on the back as you snap it onto still a dim rail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. So that removes those fly leads.
What we're doing now, everyone's saying, "Oh, we must fit RCBOs," and the first thing we're doing is wiring them back to the neutral bar
Yeah.
that we're not using.
So all them cables you're trying to dress.
Yeah.
Can you tie wrap them together?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Yes, you can. And you end up draping them round and that. And you think a little bit of innovation would get rid of them altogether.
That's innovation.
And
There's
didn't
another
look-
one, Rick. You bring the other one.
It didn't look very modern, did it? It looked like it'd been around a while. That wasn't.
This is the whole setup, though. I mean, it doesn't look aesthetically. Yeah.
Right. Have I gone into a cupboard to get to this? Have I?
Well, this is all in one. You've got the meter underneath it.
Yeah.
You've got the income and supply there on 3-phase.
Yes.
You've got 3 circuit breakers for your income and supply.
That's different. Yeah.
Yep. Obviously, 1 per phase with a rating. Into the RCBOs, there's a main switch for the whole installation there, 4-pole.
Right.
It's all in one sort of neat.
And where did you say this was in the world? Did you
It's
say?
the Netherlands,
The
guy.
Netherlands. The Dutch have got that. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's that pleasing on the eye. I wouldn't suggest it was great, but we see that in America a lot as well. Don't we? It looks a bit agricultural, but obviously, yeah, there's some bits. That's now bugging me now. That neutral fly lead don't need to be there, does it? We've seen it on the ones from Schneider with their AFDDs. They had a cone buzz bar that sat on the top. We did a review, didn't we?
Yeah.
And now I think in a drop down there was a load of additional fly leads on the neutrals, weren't
Yeah.
there?
And I think there's someone, SBS Trade Supplies or someone like that, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, and then of course, thinking about innovation bit, we've now having to start putting current transformers clipping onto things or clipping onto dim rails, and there'll be a huge uproar when as you've clipped something on a passive device onto a dim rail at the end of it that isn't made by the people who made the consumer unit, which is actually only measuring current, might be also attached to something for solar. There'll be uproar when you can't do that, type testing, all the rest of it. Really, I think it's time to move on, isn't it? It's a little bit time to move on.
It is, and but then when we looked at that other topic, everyone wanted to see screwless sockets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was already written into the standard, wasn't it?
It was, because it was when we delved into that. We had the pre-look at it, and we were lucky enough to see the rapid fix socket from MK, nice and early. Oh, you've got one there. Let's have a quick look on hand cam then, just to remind ourselves.
Everyone hasn't.
So as we look there, was the standard something about conductor size and number of conductors you had
It was
to do?
very prescriptive.
Yeah, class 1, class 2, class 5, all sorts of stuff. We did that in that video.
Yeah.
And it was quite ironic, wasn't it, that it was in the standards.
That was already baked.
They knew, didn't they? It was coming
Yeah,
down.
there's only one manufacturer hit the market with that. So
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Absolutely great. So, it's the disconnect, again, the electrical industry buckle at thinking possibly this is some sort of massive hazard to everybody, when actually when you take a calm approach to it, maybe it's the pen fault protection stuff we should be panicking about, because that's not applied to anything yet. That was invented out of thin air, wasn't it?
yeah, so I think it'll be interesting to see how this pans up. So I mean, I'm thinking, interest mark. The main failure point of non-mechanical RCDs is the fault current they can handle. That is right.
Yes.
And I got this from another EV charge manufacturer. The RCD standard, from what I'm led to believe, the device inside the relays have to be able to withstand closing onto a short circuit. Yep. With no MCB behind them as backup.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so you can't have an RCD as the only means of protection for a circuit, because you've got to have overcurrent and overload protection. But to meet the standards, you've got to ignore the fact you'll have MCB technology and be able to withstand that short circuit fault current, because it'll be massive, thousands of amps.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a situation that would probably never happen. But again, because the standards say that, obviously some people are saying, well, we've got to stick by the rule of the standards.
Which again is a fair comment, isn't it? Yeah, it's like having a rule of law and then deciding which bits you want to pick.
And I think pen fault protection devices have that same issue as well.
Oh, you want to go? Oh, that's a good one to mention. That's something we might circle back into on a different stream.
It's going to come back in. We'll keep our eyes on it. It's not just EZ who will be affected by it. There's still quite a lot of manufacturers out there who've got integral RCDs.
Yeah. And what you're thinking, would the industry, what would you rather push for? One that's built in, or one that you need to always be separate from?
Well, that's 2 camps, and that's the
Well, I
like the built-in.
You like the built-in? Where's your test button?
Well, I just use the app. It's great, the app. You hear the chunk and the other ones. But anyway, so
That is, yeah, incredibly interesting. Again, it's your comments. Please put those comments in. Gordon will try and pick up as many as you can. If you do comment, you get yourself into the register if you're watching it live. If you're not and you're making those comments, they obviously come out separately for us, and it can drive debate on in other future streams or video content that usually Joe Robinson makes on our behalf as he chases down those technical questions that we're up against.
Yeah. So time to meet our guests.
Yes, so
an EV theme to them, Gary.
yeah, they have. They're in the. If we have a look over, they're in the green room. Okay, but look, nervously biting fingers and all the rest of it. So we'd like to introduce this week's guests. So we'd like to introduce Trevor Palmer from EV Blocks, and we'd also like to have Dean Haywood from Haywood EV. Here they come. Look at this. Well done, Trev.
Thank you.
Trevor, your second time, you know, as well.
Yeah.
Were you in that chair last time?
I think it was, yeah.
There you go.
Definitely low down.
A lot more effort to get in it this time by the looks of things, Trevor.
Yeah, yes. We're not in race trim this time around.
Started already.
Yeah, already we're going in. Brilliant. So you go.
Yeah, so I guess, well, people probably know Trevor because he's been on before. Dean, we'll start with you. Yeah.
Yes.
Give us 60 seconds. Who are Haywood EV?
So, Haywood EV, we are a specialist EV charge point installation company. So we predominantly do commercial installations. So we workplace and public, AC, and a lot more DC now. So we've been in DC installers for quite a few years. We've teamed up with all the big manufacturers like the Tritims, the Kempower, EV Box, Alltel, Delta, ABB. So we're all approved to install their units. So we probably support CPOs, which is charge point operators. We help to support doing their installations for them, providing the full turnkey, helping with doing the surveys, helping with the grid connections, liaising with the DNOs, doing the installations, the civils works, aftercare support, as in maintenance, SLAs. So yeah, we cover the commercial aspect of the charge point installations.
Yeah.
It's cracking.
And you've been in it for a while.
Yeah, so I got into EV in 2014, so August 2014, so I think coming up to like 9 years now.
What was that, milk floats?
Yeah, I know. It seems a long time ago now when I first started getting into it. And that was just doing domestic. So we used to do a big rollout doing domestic. Back then it was when the government grant was £1,000 for the consumer. Didn't need an electric vehicle to comply. There's not many regulations about it and the OLEV and so on. It was a bit vague. And then, so we was doing that and then the grant sort of stopped. I think it was like the end of August 2014, it just stopped to zero. And then, because we was doing quite a lot of installations, we've done quite a few hundred. And it was a case of like back to our normal electrical installations, commercial installations, and then just educating myself. It's like, look, this ain't from this. So it's just about training, educating myself, going to like Netherlands, a lot of charge manufacturers out in Netherlands, go and do training on board with them, building up connections along the way. I mean, LinkedIn's been a massive help with that. So yeah, and then it's just brought me to where I am today, really. Yeah.
And through your travels, you met Trevor.
Yes. Yeah, we met.
So Trevor, EV Blocks.
Yeah.
We've got 14 seconds left now because every shot there. Tell us all about a concrete block in 14 seconds, Trev.
Cheers, Gary. So we make a universal precast concrete base with an adapter plate that goes on top. So a lot of EV charging pedestals come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and the adapter plate will accommodate all of the AC chargers that are currently on the market. So I invented this out of challenges on site, watching concrete dry, having bases that weren't up to scratch to sign off, or ducting coming out in the wrong spot and having revisits. So then we went to precast with the adapter plate. We got the same finish every single time, a uniform finish every time. And now we're seeing contractors put in more EV blocks than what's happening on phase 1 and leaving them as passive for phase 2 when the budget comes around for the following year.
And it's good. We've used them. I mean, at the end of the day, and we'll see that later on in the presentation. You'll be able to see an EV block in use and actually being installed. But it's that leaving a little bit room for expansion, which is probably the element you're seeing. You're going and doing a certain number, but of course, we know EV adoption is going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
However, we really want to just break that ice, don't we, with the race wall, don't we? Let's get in with the race wall. Give everybody a chance to take a deep breath, because you're friends at the moment, okay? But obviously, there's a little bit of rivalry here. So, shall we see what
What our racing pundit had to say about tonight's contestants?
Tonight's Electricians Challenge is going to be a hotly contested one, but first of all, let's look back at some of the runners and riders that have taken on the challenge before. Got to stand on my EV blocks to elevate myself up to here, where I see number one. He's been there for such a long time. It's Rocket Ross Sands. Now, tonight's contestant, Dean Haywood, has a lot of things that resemble Ross. He's rake thin, he's ninja-like around the actual race wall. So for those reasons, and those reasons only, I'm going to give him an odds of 3-1 of being the fastest this evening. As we look down the list, we've got some old favourites here, haven't we? We've got James Buttcrack Barrett, and he's at 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Will it be Nick's turn to get tucked up tonight, as Nick Tucker is just below him at 3 minutes and 17? Now, I'm suggesting that might be the region that we might be seeing tonight, but you know me, I'm always misleading when it comes to some of these. I'll jump off, and we're going to have a look further down our list, maybe look at mid-table. We'll look at the Italian stallion. We've got Giovanni here, the fastest man in a pair of leather shoes, at 3 minutes and 43, a respectable time. Richard, the fence we can't get over, Richard's Breacher's Brook at 3 minutes and 53. However, he's not the only runner and rider in this race, because we've got another one. We've got Trevor Faceplant Palmer taking it on this evening, and that reminds me of this as I slowly drop down. Something short in stature, that's considerably heavy to move around. Yes, that's right, I'm talking about Trevor and not the EV block we've got down here. And because of that, I'm going to give him a couple of chins at 10-1. So if you think 10-1, Faceplant Palmer is going to come in first this evening, you need to say Trevor and his time. If you think Dean's going to crush the race, well, you need his name first and his time. And let's see how they get on the Electricians Challenge.
So there you go. That was good good tipster in there, Gary. So now you've got 60 seconds. Can we start the countdown to get your times in? We want two things. We want the name of the person who you think is going to win and the time you're going to do it. So if you think Trevor's going to do it in 3 minutes 19, put Trevor 3 minutes 19 in the comments and you could win on that. Or is Dean going to win? Put in 10 minutes, Dean, for the win, and we'll wait for some of that to come through. You've got 60 seconds to do it before we roll in to see how he got on. Are you confident, Trevor?
I'll give him a clue. I'll give Gary plenty of footage to work with.
Well, this could be fun. So yes, let's. Yeah. Well, you're doing yourself in there.
The great thing is they did it on different days. They've got no idea how the other one did it, so he's bugging himself off, actually.
Yeah, so that's coming in. So yeah, so we've got early people in for an early Trevor.
Yeah.
And we've got a Dean at 3:37 already. Ooh.
It's like...
So they're all everyone thinks. And just to be clear, you did used to be an electrician.
That's right, yeah. 20 years long in the game.
Dean,
and
you haven't been on the tools for a year.
Correct, yeah, no, not a year,
Yeah. So
oh, well, if we're doing top trumps on
I've got to clear that diction up. You haven't been on the tools for a year. It sounded like you haven't been on the tools for more than a year. It's like,
Well, times are coming in, so let's cut to it.
Well, it's first time I'm going to see a bit of
Trevor
live
up
commentary.
first.
Is he? Trev's up first. Let's have a look at that.
Let's get Rick to get his, get his screens in order. He's getting there.
Excited.
Oh, we've got a little scroller now. Right, and Trevor's off.
Oh, he's
on
on
the
the
EV block there.
He's not the tallest man you're ever going to find.
And he's straight in with the socket off.
Are they your tools or are they our own tools, Trev?
they're my own tools.
Right, okay.
It's a long way up to reach that green button to get kicked off.
Absolutely it is. Here we go. Well,
Lean forward there, Trev, so people can watch you in the screen.
yeah, just
I see, only a little, you see, aren't I?
So here we go then. So obviously, backing off the screw, I'm not sure this is the best way now. I think you open and cable in, and rather than going big on the hole, I think we open it up bigger than we need to do for that. So up in the consumer unit, we're doing the screws again. So we're up and down. We're going to have to go back down again, aren't we?
Couldn't he? Could have been
Flatted on the...
flatted on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was...
Yeah.
So Ross's time apparently was done with one screwdriver, with something like out of the Matrix, Gary was
ton of ability. So are you going to tape it? You're doing a bit of both. Twisting and tape.
Right, mess with tape. Yeah,
look at
Got to be
that.
quick on the tape there.
What's that loop? I haven't seen that loop at the end before. What are you going to do?
That's magic. That is. You put a loop on straight up.
Right.
Oh, eventually.
I've had a bit of
Well, hang on. That looks like see the back of that head? That looked like a tarmac car park, and in the centre of it, somebody had put an EV block because it's like cream. Yeah. Oh my word.
Is that where you got the inspiration?
I think it was on top of his head.
Sync the focus there. Yeah.
Well, this is looking all right.
That's not.
It is.
Well, there you're on pliers.
Yeah, yeah.
You just used pliers. You didn't have side cutters or anything.
No.
Here we go. So in we go.
So what I'm going to do here is put the live in my way of the neutral conductor. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Happy days. This is
what you
looking
wanna
good,
do.
Trev. I think we've done you an injustice here. So.
I mean, I would never leave a board. It's horrendous.
You switch back again to the other screwdriver.
Oh, yeah, we lost one there.
what happened
Must
there,
be an attempt to, yeah.
Oh, look at that. We've got to connect them in, mate.
You've lost a few strands.
A bit of concrete, you know. Oh, dear. Here we go. So, are you standing on the block there, or are you on tiptoes?
Just on my tiptoes.
Right, here we go. Take it slowly to get back down there. Back in with the big pliers.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how you do the protective conductor. You're doing a JB on it. So,
Oh, look at that.
yeah, so you've cut the end and then you're going to split the middle, yeah?
An artist's brush there.
Absolutely. Here we go. So, a couple more connections and we're done.
Shorten them again.
Just shorten them again.
keep shortening them, yeah.
Just for good measure.
A bit of time.
Yeah.
Well done. Look, yeah. You're not bad. How long have you been off the tools?
6, 7 years.
Wow, okay. Yeah. It's all right. You've got a bit of an idea.
Get those pliers at B&Q or something. So they look a bit.
Middle of Audi.
Nipex.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't look Nitpex then.
Yeah, Nipex for
Been on Alibaba by the look of it.
Yeah.
Knipex, I think they call them.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
It's another one of them, isn't it? He's going in. Trev, you having a lot of problems with that line conductor today, haven't you?
I've still got my side cutters from when I was an apprentice. Nipex side cutters, good as gold. Love it.
Here we go. So just a couple of screws and you'll be done.
Screws in the right place there.
You're going to need the block.
Oh, at least you haven't put the footage of where I dropped one and lost it.
Yeah.
What's your fastest time, Trev?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wrestling it back on. Did you, obviously, stop button's a lot lower. Did you use the block to get to the stop, or were you?
Oh, I'm not sure.
To get to it?
I did have a go
Here we go.
using the block.
Well, that's. Oh, we had.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, needed the block. I love it. Well, straight in. So up comes Dean. Here we go, Dean. Off the tools for 1 year. Let's see how this one goes.
That was a quick
Yeah,
start.
I mean, that was almost Balor-esque, wasn't it? Yeah.
Coiled spring.
Yeah, look at that, straight down on his haunches. Okay, we're going to wind them back up. Own tools or our tools?
They're my own, yes. Brought them along for the journey.
Brought them out, yeah, a bit of fresh air for them after a year. Here we go. Has this been speeded up? You seem to be moving quite quickly. You're obviously racing thin, so we're obviously going to be pretty quick.
Thin there, Gary. There's another EV block.
No, I'm not going to mention it. I'm sitting next to him. There's nothing to see there at all. My word. So, round Lasico Bend into the Luden consumer unit in order to make those connections.
This looks good, Dean.
It does. It looks like we speeded it up though. You've got to always be careful because I don't edit them
People
anymore.
always do well with.
Ross was #1 with snips.
That's all I've ever used, never.
Really?
Are they CK ones?
Yes.
Yeah, they're exactly the same ones Ross used when he came top of the leaderboard. Am I giving you a little bit of a hint of where we're going? So it's,
I've got a pair of them as well.
yeah, but you're 6.5 minutes in there. Yeah, it's not the quickest, is it? So, here we go. Will they stay in? That's the first thing.
Neutral at the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top tip there, Trev.
Oh, yeah.
I've stripped them a bit too long.
Don't worry about it.
Exposed.
Oh, we're having another second attempt.
It's all right. They'll only
It's a refusal, isn't it? Neutral.
It's not good, is it? That's
No.
any chance of a podium's just gone. Yeah, Rick can get in anyway. Look, he's trying to get in shot as well. So line at the front, and down we go. That's a rapid start. It's too bad. Right.
plenty of wires down there.
Are you going to be separate? Oh, he is a separate man. Okay, so look how quick these are. Look at that. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
A third one.
Third one.
So two engined it 3 times. I like it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. So protective conductor. Did you split your CPCs or did you put them in the same hole?
Same one.
Same hole. Good.
Take a bit of time.
Right. Yeah. Well, go find the right tool. Right. Go. That's good. That is good. Yeah, I'm liking this. We might have to mention that area in a minute.
We've got some new lights in here actually, and you can see them reflected. We've got some reflectance value problems here.
Blame Rick for that for the camera angle.
Always likes to zone in on a
Yeah.
thinning area. I usually say if your carpet looked like it, you probably look to chuck it out. I mean, yours would have gone a long time ago in the bin, wouldn't it? It's like, yeah. Here we go. So, what we got? Protective conductors away from finishing. Tight to get in. Trying to get them in. Didn't quite back them off enough. Pretty quick. So I think this is going to be close. I think this is going to be close. If you hadn't have fumbled your conductor,
I was shaking. I couldn't believe it.
like
I've made so many sockets off in my life. And I've got 5 blokes watching me and God knows how many cameras. I'm like,
oh yeah, you did it on the day where we had a massive audience. Here we go. So let's see what Dean is up like a coiled spring. Bang. That's pretty good. I like that. Interesting. Right, so
See if we can get some times.
all right, okay, so he's already going to be looking for those times, is he?
How did you find it though? We think it was a challenge?
Sorry?
Challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah?
To do it quick.
Well, I mean, I'm looking across at the board. Is there anyone? Well, we'll go with you, Trevor, first. Is anyone on here you recognise, Trevor? Anyone you'd like to beat?
Who would you like to beat? So, sorry,
Bundy.
so I'll just...
Bundy?
Yeah, I've got to go
Bundy's
for
on you, so that's a dumb
Is there
one.
anyone down here you'd like to beat? Is there anyone down here?
Guy Hayden.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That'll be good.
Marketing manager. Nice, set your heights nice and high.
Well, Trevor, you did this in. Yeah, it was 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Just above Ian from old C-Norm there. We'll sneak in there between Rick Hearn.
That's not going to hold, is it? Is it going to hold?
We'll have to hold for now. We'll hold them. We'll give it that. I'll put Rick there for a while.
Oh,
Trevor's fallen off.
Yeah.
Where did we get this? I think we've been on Wish with some of these tapes.
Here we go.
here.
So Trev's in.
Trev's in. Dean, anyone on there you recognise?
Nick Tucker.
Nick, ooh.
Zach Lee.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, up the top.
All right.
Up the top.
At the top. Well, you did this actually in 3 minutes. The next numbers are 1, and it's 14. So you are just above Nick Tucker. Oh, that'll be painful.
Oh, how much by? Oh, a couple of 3 seconds.
Just shuffle him down there.
Too bad.
Not too bad.
I wonder if he's told Nick that might spoil his holiday.
There's plenty of stuff spoiled that holiday, according to the stuff off camera. That was brilliant. Yeah, really good. So, obviously did it in separate times. You didn't see each other do it, which is obviously gives you a bit of a clue on how you did. And like you said, you had a full audience, as we had people in here actually having a CPD day with us, which was fantastic, from Wigan and Lee College. So we got to meet those. They were here. And talking to colleges, we'll mention that maybe later on with another live stream. So 2 great times, wasn't it, Gordon?
It was, and that was it just sandwiched underneath. What did he call James? Was it butt cracked parrot?
Apparently, yes, because obviously there's going to be a few more. We might do a few more of them in the future. If I can come up with some nicknames for people as we do that, and we see whether they can top that leaderboard and knock them out. It's an incredible time, mate, because you moved pretty rapidly. And I'd like to say as well, your 3 runs were probably all within 10 seconds of each other. So you were very consistent in that mark. So,
Good.
So that was good. Yeah. So you smashed out that time, 3:14 and thereabouts for 3 attempts. Let's delve in now then. So
Well, we've had a super chat in for.
oh, have we? Is it not Mr. Brooks? Is
on
it?
the screen? No, it's not.
No, it isn't. That's what I said. It isn't Mr. Brooks.
There you go, from Mark Allen.
Oh,
and that's very good. And we had Mark last time. He was a fantastic guest.
It was, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, been pushing him out a lot. Obviously spoke to those guys. We mentioned it, didn't we? From Wigan and Lee College. Again, I mentioned him. I think they started following him on LinkedIn. I explained what Mark had done for the electrical industry and how many people he got into apprenticeships. Also got contacted on Instagram on our account over the weekend about finding a job. And again, I sent them back to Mark as well. So he's the best person to help you. Yeah. Really good. Right, let's delve into it then, Dean. So you've gone from fitting EV chargers before anyone knew they were a thing to fit. So we're talking 2014. And now we're obviously chasing the business through. It's not necessarily a massive domestic market, individual outlets you're after.
No.
What's the business looking like now?
Yeah, so we found the position that we are now is that commercial, just because I'm from a commercial electrical background, doing commercial fit outs. So, because I've always specialised in that, I just thought, look, let's go for that. And so we find ourselves more teaming up with CPOs to help them. So they'll be doing the funding side of it, putting the charge, and then we will do the installations for them. So we provide that service where we can do the on-site surveys, do the full bespoke quotation and proposal, do the installations along with the civil works, liaising with the DNO. So we take care of all that installation headaches that they just want charge points in the ground. So we just want to help deal with that.
From what I've seen, when they've done the locals, it's all about the civils.
Yes.
It's like they come along and dig a massive hole in the middle of the car park and a trench off to wherever the powers come from. That seems to be the difficult bit.
Yeah.
And then they come and plonk the chargers on, and then suddenly the chargers appear.
Yes. I mean, if we can try and manage as much as possible, it's so much better for the CPOs if we can control it all for them, rather than them getting in a separate civils company and a separate this. Like, if we can control that all for them to give that service, then that's probably where our value is, to be honest, in like that sort of industry in the EV world. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trying to take over the civils contractors business, yeah? And Trevor's trying to take over it as well. He's trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Just make it easy.
Make it easy.
That's right. No more rain delays.
Rain delays. Yeah.
Can't, you know, putting a concrete base in while it's chucking it down rain is not ideal.
Yeah. Well,
Or waiting for concrete to dry in the middle of winter, again, not ideal.
it's no fun though, is it? I mean, you know, you wet concrete, you'd be straight in there with your feet, wouldn't you? Scratching your name in there. When I was
Try to
in
leave
the
your
neighbourhood.
initials,
Yeah.
the date you did the work, hidden under the plate. Yeah, you do all that, wouldn't you?
So did you used to watch concrete dry, literally? Is that sort of...
Yeah, I mean, these are great. Like, I mean, we've used them various different sites, and just for the fact that it's an access pit, access chamber for future-proofing, putting cables through. One best element is that you ain't got to wait for it to dry. We can fit a block there and then and install the charge point on that day. You ain't got to wait for curing time, going back to site, which is obviously more costs. Like, I mean, Trevor will obviously explain about it, but yeah, that's why we use it in a lot of projects.
Right, so you've grabbed the civils business. Yep. Is there anybody else's business you're trying to get now?
Nothing I can talk about.
But so you've seen opportunity, and we love that on eFIXX TV. We love the fact that people see an opportunity, whether it be that they've drifted into EV and they've gone solar and battery. You've drifted into EV, saw that opportunity nice and early, but now you're going after those sort of bigger contracts, those DC chargers. We're now talking bigger cables, bigger infrastructure, and obviously a lot more expensive kit.
Yeah.
But when you've sort of described the electrical element of it, it seems to be the most simplest part of it. Yet there's a lot of people out there that are fearful of EV chargers.
Yeah.
You're actually more fearful about the civils work and trying to get that done correctly than you are making those connections. Just talk me through maybe a high-powered AC before you do DC charger and what the cable looks like and what the connections might be.
Yeah, so for let's just say like a 50 kilowatt rapid charger, 50 kilowatt DC, for that is let's just say like an easy installation, a simple installation is a feeder pillar. In the feeder pillar, it's usually just MCCB or adjustable RCBO switchgear.
Yep.
DC on a concrete pad, ducting in between. Then we tend to run HO7 RNF cable. One reason why we use that instead of SWA is because a lot of the DC manufacturers don't have a termination plate or a glanding plate to lock into. So we find HO7 works more in our favour. It's a bit more easy to run through underground ducting, especially when we run cables up 150mm 4-core, 185mm 4-core, and so on. So when you get to that size, you either do it into singles or you go through the HO7 route as well. We do it in singles as well. So yeah, that's a problem. Look, DC installations are quite relatively simple.
That's what you don't want to really say, but yeah, you said 4 cores. That's all. 4 connections. Yeah. What else?
Yeah. That's all there is to it. Like, I know it sounds silly, but that's all there is to it. You've got the supply coming into the feeder pillar, supply going out to the charge point. You've got your overcurrent protection, your switchgear, whatever it is in between that part, and that's it. It's just a lot of people are afraid or a bit like DC, like a bit higher current, higher this, higher that, but it's not really too drastic to get involved with, to be honest.
And the lead time for a new connection, Dean?
Yes. There's the element side or that side.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just
waiting for the job to actually come to fruition.
It's the installation side of it, but all the other side of it, there's a lot to go through. That side of it, yeah.
And then when we think about, that we've mentioned earlier, pen fault and things like that, have you got any pen fault protection of this at a current rating, or are you going earth electrode?
A mixture of both. So we are going through the open device route, as well as we tend to install an earth lattice plate or an earth mat below the feeder pillar, which is then covered with like micronite cement for the conductivity, and then EV block straight on the top, and then earth cable comes up, TT system, we do it that way. Or I think UK Power Networks are the only ones at the moment that have approved an open device, namely the MATI device, on the 3-phase unit at the moment. So anything within UK Power Networks, we can install a MATI device. Any other DNOs at the moment, they're just going through. I'm not too sure. I've not spoken to them for recently, but I know they're going through that sort of system at the moment to try and get their users improved, which is great for the industry. I mean, just to eliminate a lot of risk factors and
cable strikes are the worst nightmare.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you then having to wait for someone to make that connection onto the DNO's cable, or is there a system in place that is going to make your life easier?
Yeah, so we there's two ways you can contact the DNO, distribution network operator, or you can either go down the route of an ICP, independent connections provider, and IDNOs. So we're looking into the ICP stuff just to, I can't say too much at the moment because it's something we're just looking into, but we're looking into maybe partnering or going in with an ICP contractor or becoming an ICP ourselves.
Right.
So we can handle the application procedures, doing an application to the DNOs, the point of connections, and applying to the grid to get that done, rather than waiting for the said DNOs throughout the UK to give you the designs and the quotes back. We can try and action it a lot quicker to speed up that process, because there's quite long delays at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Demand is
Turnkey.
high.
That's what you said at the start. You wanted that turnkey. So,
Correct.
So you didn't set out when you started your electrical
No.
career to dig holes.
No.
So you're going to take it on because there's
Yes.
some value in it to you as a
Correct.
business. You might even find that you're going to investigate how you can make that connection, whether it be through a third party or whatever, because again, that makes your process, your bit's probably the simplest process. The electrical part is probably the easiest
It
process,
is.
and you're trying to get all those processes.
Yeah.
But what I've seen, I mean, are you doing that work? Say someone comes car park, we want to put some chargers in this car park. Do you do the work for them to find out if they can connect locally or not? Because round here you can access the map digitally and have a look.
Yes.
And when we had a look, you can't put ones in anywhere. There's no spare capacity anywhere.
Yeah.
Is that part of? Are you looking at that for car park operators as well, going, well,
Yeah.
you've got no chance?
Yeah, it's a lot of them. We've got a lot of barriers in place at the moment with DNOs and so on. So, as you probably know from other CPOs out there, I mean, a lot of EV drivers and people that are not in the EV world are calling out, we need infrastructure, but there's so many barriers before that we're struggling to obtain just to get charge points in the ground. Not people who are out there are aware of the situation, what we have to face just to get, we'd love to get charge points in the ground, but there's just so many barriers involved to get to that point, to get them in the ground.
Yeah.
So,
Have we got any pictures or anything that we can supplement this with? Give the audience an idea of what we mean.
What a commercial one looks like. Yeah.
Let's have a look, see what I've got. Perhaps you can talk us through it, Dean,
Industrial tourism.
as we bring it in. So,
Right. Well, that looks pretty.
yeah, so this was a project we've done. So I'm head of EV charging for a company called Your Parking Space, Parking Management. So this is one of their car parks they manage, which is a Holiday Inn. And we've dealt with the task to put in 6 AC charge points. In this case, it's 3 double units. We implemented the Savardis Autel AC charge point with an EV tower and then the EV block in the ground as well. So, and then what we've done on that payment terminal there, we've made that payment terminal, which is a CPI payment terminal. We've integrated that now with the charge point and the back office, which is Fuse. So we've tried to bring sort of all the companies we work with closely, just to bring them all together to build that solution.
so as I look at this one, so you've got the green box there, as everyone's looking at on the right hand side, is where you've come into that, have you?
That's classed as a GRP cabinet or a feeder pillar.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's this. On this case, this is taken from the actual building supply.
Yes.
So we've used the existing building supply at the moment and come across to that.
So your first issue is then there's a lump of ground been removed, concrete blocks gone in, and it's duct into there.
Correct.
Okay, and then obviously that ducting continues off. Is it individually fed to what I can see is 3 charging points?
So with this situation, because utilising the EV block, which no one else can do out there, is that we run an underground duct to the first block. From the first block, we go to the second block, and then the second block to the third block. So them EV blocks act as our access chambers or access pits. So we ain't got to put any access pits on. So when we run the cables through, we pull all the cables through the pits into the last chamber, and then the middle one, and then the one before.
So electrically then, connections in the first box, the first box and 3 others, that's it. So if you're just doing electrical work and following the civils team through, you're not going to be there very long, are you?
No, correct, yeah.
Yeah, but you're trying to package the whole thing up. We've obviously got one here, this is a little bit closer for us. So is that an EV block, Trevor?
It is, yeah. That's a B600, slightly heavier than the previous photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had the original ones up here. Yeah, with a EO pedestal on there. The previous one was Savardis.
And we're going all the way, so if everyone can see our eye line as we pass it through there, we were ducted through all the rest of them.
Correct,
Got a nice close-up one over there, maybe halfway through that run. Okay, so that's good. And it's yeah, wow, look at that shot. Yeah, you can actually see that the work that's gone in to get those blocks into the ground.
Yes.
But that's not a lot of disturbance, is it, Trevor?
Yeah, it's pretty good going.
So
Yeah,
we've got
yeah.
hardly any of the ground out.
Yeah.
And the minute that's been dropped in, so the hole's in, it's dropped in,
Yeah.
the work continues, doesn't it? So we're then putting on, obviously, the tower and the cables, and you're out of there. So how long would that take if I'd done that shuttering and concrete, all of those, before actually the electrician can be let loose on it?
That's going to be a while. I actually hand-delivered those blocks due to a logistics problem that we were having. And I saw the ground workers on site, dropped off the blocks, and by the time I'd gone to fetch some more, they had all of them except one in the ground. And that was in a matter of about 2 or 3 hours.
Right, and concrete, so the equivalency, would I be able to do it the following day? So I poured it.
Probably not.
No.
It's going to be, the concrete's going to be a bit green.
I love that word. My dad used to use, there's a word, I hope you were saying, it was a word that I attribute to my dad when talking about concrete. Gaz, it's a bit green.
Yeah, I wouldn't put your fixings in there yet.
Well, in this season's weather at the moment anyway.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah, seasonal as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, there we go, nice close-up of it.
This is the EV Block Mini.
Right, okay, so that's actually, the EV Block Mini, we're going to have a look at in a minute a little bit closer. There isn't, I can't see a plate on there. It looks like the bottom of the pedestal is the plate. Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay. So
that's
the
been
Mini.
made in partnership with EV Tower.
Right, okay.
So the EV Block Mini is made specifically for the EV Tower and fits nicely in that recess.
Well, let's have a look then. So let's bring Handcam in and just show you what I mean. So this is the smallest one you do, yeah?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so let's not mention height and things like that and smallness. Okay, so had a few times.
Needs a sit
It
in
comes
the
with
carriage
it.
for
It comes
scale.
with the fixings ready to go.
Yeah, okay.
So they'll go straight in.
Yep.
And then,
Pressure's on you now, because if this don't quite fit,
we're in for a whole world of pain.
oh, wow,
And that goes straight on there
brilliant.
every time.
So
A real neat finish.
that is a real neat finish. That is super. And that just remind me, is that Nick Tucker's one?
Yeah, that is,
He's been
EV
so-
Tower
yeah,
guys
EV Tower.
over in Wales, yeah.
Okay, just for devilment for me, just drop that off for me and sit on it, just for a little bit of fun. Just have a little seat on there. Just sit there. And perhaps look at that camera over there. Just sit.
Oh.
So yeah, just put that one on to start with. Okay, so
This feels like I'm about to get mugged off.
just hold that for me. It's a fishing rod. Okay, just
yes.
one second. Let's just check.
just see that.
It's nice and tidy on the top of your head there. So, just look at that camera over there. Just give us a little smile.
Isn't it like a garden? Or...
Fantastic. Thank you very
cheers,
much. You're very welcome. Okay, you're all good, mate.
Lovely. Yeah.
That patch is still looking a little thin at the back.
Maybe I'll put the hat back on.
Looks like you've got a swimming cap on at the minute. Right, okay. Brilliant. Yeah, okay. So, but that wasn't the first one you did, was it? We got to the Mini, but we've lugged some bigger boys about, haven't we?
Absolutely,
Let's have a look. We've got a bit of footage, actually.
Yeah, let's have a look, yeah.
We had a go at the civils ourselves.
Yeah, we did.
Our tame builder.
Okay.
So first up, we dug up our car park.
So this is the guy next door to us. This is Cheerful Charles we've got next door to us.
Expert digger driver.
What's this, Gordon?
This is the cable map. So I carefully scanned for all the cables in the area with a CAT scanner, identified the telephone and the 2 3-phase supplies that come in. So we've got that was fun doing that. I was pretty confident where we were there. We hand exposed them carefully.
Oh.
And Charles hit the water pipe with a digger.
That wasn't on your map though, was it? That wasn't on your map, was it?
That wasn't. Well, he said no. That pipe, there is a water pipe comes through here, but it's really deep down. And he even did the CAT scanning first.
And there we go. So what one's
yeah.
that, Trevor?
Yeah. So that's B500 Plus.
Okay.
The smallest universal EV block that we do.
So we've just used that as an access point at the minute.
Yeah.
So we've sort of future-proofed it, and it has been quite handy because we use it all the time to run cables between the 2 buildings.
So that's it. So we're now in a position with no concrete. We just dropped the block in, firm and level ground. Yeah. We've now put obviously our level of effectively rubble back in or hardcore. Yeah, our pack in. We've got our tape over the top of where our ducting is before obviously we're getting it eventually going to get it tarmacked.
Yeah, I mean it'd be pretty good there because a lot of the ground's compacted. MOT stone underneath as it was. So it all depends on the ground conditions what you do.
We got our friends from Corn in to do the tarmacking.
In and out in about an hour and a half, weren't they?
Drunk a lot of tea, I can tell you. And and then you got a neat finish.
Yeah, it's easy. When it's like that level with the tarmac, it gives a really neat finish. There's only a small ribbon on the B500 Plus.
Now we're having to manufacture this to match the actual charger that we've got in these ones. This isn't those we've just seen, so we're just drilling out and bolting up. Is that still the same process?
Absolutely, yeah.
So we can fit a variety of different towers. This is, again, EV tower going in, so this is Nick's one. We've got a hole here, the slot where our cable can come out. Okay, so we've got that as a point, but we could just take this off and use it as an access point as well. This is quite interesting, isn't it, Gordon?
It's a handy place to put an RCD should you need one.
Yeah, just in the side there. I wonder if that'll ever be a thing.
Or if you're in Ireland where
They have to have a local isolation, don't they, for it? And then obviously we've got all the bells and whistles of having a tower. Okay, so we've got the ability to put our lead round, and then obviously if we want to support it as well, we've got the actual end there. So that's it. So it would be a nice, tight, needy install. Yeah. Love it. Fantastic. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We lived it, didn't we?
Yeah. So Trevor, you left being a contractor to do this, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. Why did you leave contracting?
COVID.
Right.
COVID killed my business.
Well, yeah, just be careful your wording. I'm sure it's still going to get struck out. You reconstruct that sentence again. You spoke very slowly between the words. So COVID came along and stopped your contracting business.
So all the sectors we were aligned with, so we were doing car showrooms at the time, we were doing shopping centres, and we were doing office spaces. Where were all the places you could not go in COVID? And it was like, this is, it was heartbreaking to see it go. But
Was it just you on your own, or did your firm built yourself up a bit bigger?
no, I started from like a van, toolbox, to about 8, 10 people, a few subcontractors here and there as we needed it. And it grew into like quite an animal, doing more and more projects and then leaning into EV. And that's where EV Blocks was born, with needing to have a consistent finish on all these car showrooms and being able to kind of divorce the civils element from the electrical. So we used to send the civils guy a week ahead. They would do all the trenching, put all in the EV Blocks. Then my electricians would turn up, do all the cabling, the distribution boards, wiring, and mount the pedestals, and we were done. And they were on to the next one. And we had that as a rolling programme, doing about, on average, 2 to 3 car showrooms the electrical team were doing every week, because we had 3 teams out on the road.
Wow.
And it was really, the guys done grand job for us.
And they're gone. That went.
That all
And you
went.
pivoted into the concrete block.
And now, now I'm doing this full time. You can see the difference in how the business has grown and the sales numbers and where it's going now.
So you're on. This was Gen 2, wasn't it?
Yes, this was requested. We like your blocks, Trev, but they're a bit heavy, so
They are heavy.
we did.
This one's heavier than that one over there. You want to pick that one up, but this one here, I've got a bad back as well. Oh,
You go steady.
go for it.
I think that's all of about 3 kilos.
too bad that one is, isn't it? What's that made out of? Fiberglass?
3D print, that is, Gary.
3D print. That's a hell of a printer. What's the draw like when you have to put it in?
It's
just
massive,
trying to get that out
huge
of the end of it.
machine. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So yeah,
You got from that one to the garden gnome stand.
yeah. By request, Nick contacted me, 2 or 3 times. Like, Trev, will you do a block for us? And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. And then by the 3rd time, I was like, he really wants this block. Let's do it. And over that time, got to know the guys at EV Tower as well, and built a good relationship up with them, and then launched a Mini. And I'm pleased done, because their tower takes like 40 different chargers as well.
Yeah, because they changed the top plate and that.
Yeah.
But you're talking DC, you're talking big AC chargers. None of these are any good for them, are they?
No.
How big are you going?
We've got a couple of monsters in the pipeline at the
Right, okay.
moment for DC and for feeder pillars alike. So they're in kind of the works in design.
Yep.
And we're looking to have them on the market this year.
Right.
So
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. We're getting more and more interest in it. And we're being approached by the charging manufacturers to, we work with us on these projects, which is, I never even saw that coming.
No,
It's really
obviously
good.
all got different footprints. Every DC manufacturer's different.
Yep.
One could be this size, so you got to try and find the sort of
Sweet
medium,
spot.
really,
Yeah.
just to make them like a universal. which
Yeah.
is- it's a difficult task, because then another chargement comes on the market and you're like,
Yeah. Which is the beauty with these ones. All the AC ones that are currently on the market will fit on an EV block. And because this adapter plate is shared between the B500 and the B600,
And when we say 600, is that, logically it sounds bigger. Is it bigger than 600?
Yeah, it's 600 by 600. It's double the weight. It's got a bigger concrete ribbon around there.
Right.
It's better for some of your tethered chargers because there's more weight at the top of the charger. There's more leverage there, so you're getting more of a mass foundation in the ground.
Right, okay. Yeah, makes sense. So we could be a metre by a metre if we start doing these DC ones. We're going to do massive lumps. Okay. It's the ice cream man. Or is that your phone? That's my phone. Right.
Well,
Really?
you just got to check the call,
Really?
Trevor.
Yeah, just your business won't fail without you. And he's back in.
Dinner's ready.
That
It was on silent. Just forgot about the rest.
I heard your phone ringing on silent. Is that what you're telling me? So yeah, so it's great. Again, little bits, but there's little bits of innovation. Not necessarily. We're not talking about maybe at the start and consuming it and that, but a little bit of a problem. Always there's a problem, there's a solution. Yep. You weekly found the same problem, didn't you? That, all this concrete and etc. The bigger the hole goes and all the rest of it. So between you and a few connections, your own experience, all the rest of it, you're building a business off the back of one that was obviously crumbled through difficult times.
Yeah.
And recently you've been on holiday, haven't you?
Yeah, well, we went over to the States to...
Did you eat well over there?
Yeah, as you can see, we had a good time in Texas at the National Electrical Contractors Association show in Austin.
Now, they do say keep Austin weird. Did you hear that when you were out there?
It was I was there about 10 years ago. It was not kind of the same Austin that I remember. It was pretty wild, the nightlife, as you walk down the street. So.
Yeah. When you were there this time?
When I was there this time.
Oh, right. Well,
yeah.
There you go. But do say keep Austin weird.
I've never heard of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So why were you in America?
So we've licensed EV blocks in partnership with a company called Recon Wall Systems. They are a licensing business who have got a network of precasters, concrete precasters in the States. So we've now got a network of around 20 concrete producers making or due to make EV blocks in America.
So if I put up a map of America, then I'll see little EV blocks everywhere of all the places you've currently been penetrating. Is that true?
Correct.
Let's see if that can be the case. Wow, look at that. There it is.
Yeah, so those are all the places that you'll be able to purchase an EV block in America in April this year, so April 2023.
In Vegas, look at that.
Yeah.
When in Vegas,
Yes.
well, they say in Vegas, buy an EV block.
There's in Vegas.
Or if you've bought one, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That'd be the block, wouldn't it? You'd never be able to get it in your hand luggage, anyhow. In order, if it come out the overhead packet, it'd be all over. So okay, so we're going global. So we're taking. So they're probably at our 2014 point, and the Americans have just sort of twigged, didn't they? What the car runs on a battery.
I mean, you probably know more than me, but I don't.
The demand out there is going to be outrageous.
Not yet though, is it? It's very slow.
Very slow, yeah.
The infrastructure.
I thought there was a big car manufacturer started out there.
What was its name?
Electric, I don't know, some Musk character, something like that.
Musk. Sounds like an aftershave.
Yeah, I think he's out
He's a
there.
social media bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he started in Twitter, then went out to cars. Well, he'd made all his money there.
If there's a Tesla story for anyone.
Just on that, right, I mean, obviously our American friends tend to think a little bit bigger.
Yes. So over the Atlantic, our EV block has put on a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
what are we talking about now? Is we talking about what?
So the EV block
Oh,
product.
the EV block. Sorry, Trevor.
Not me.
I wrote it. It has.
I mean, I would Trevor, you call it the 600 out there, they're going to struggle with that. Have you had to call it the 7 and 5'8" or whatever they go with?
No, so it is the EV block standard.
Standard.
Keep it simple.
Okay.
That's
Is it
the
still
standard
600
EV block.
millimetres?
No, it is 22 inches by 22 inches. Wide, 24 inches deep.
Right, okay. And the screws in the top, what are they? They'll be,
They'll be ½ inch.
½ inch.
Yeah.
Half inch.
No, you're really testing me here. And the adapt plate will be 18 inches.
Yeah. And what gauge is that?
It's going to be about an inch.
ONC. Yeah, what the screw threads? Oh, not Whitworth.
So just one block then? Are they they're just going in for the standard?
They're going in for the standard.
And is that the standard?
No, it'll be taller, so it's slightly taller.
Right. Okay. So I haven't seen a physical standard. It's American standards different to here.
Yes.
Yes. All them numbers you said weren't equivalent to the ones that I've.
Yeah, so it's a different kind of model name between the US and the UK.
What's the reason why it's a bit deep?
So they've got deeper frost depth to what we have in the UK. So we kind of calculated the frost depth of America and where can we take the product down to that is going to suit kind of 50% of the states before we have to over excavate to then put Type 2 MOT stone, compact, and then put the EV block on.
There's a bit more involved in this.
Just bring that map back up, right? Let's just pull this apart. Here.
So now you're going to go out of my comfort zone because this is my.
There's no permafrost on there, is there? I don't see us up in the Klondike.
Now you see them all sort of gone where all the people are, yeah? 'Cause nobody lives in North Dakota. I know one person in Montana, my mate Doug, and he just flies out of there all the time. And Utah's weird.
Yeah, so like for example,
Upset our American viewers, but there we go.
we're looking at places like Denver, and then across kind of Atlanta, Charlotte. We're looking at a couple of places up there. Mike's at the National Precast Show tomorrow, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Columbus, Ohio, actively seeking the remaining patches of America for producers as well.
A national precast show.
Yeah, so we're going into.
I wonder if there's any tickets left. I wonder if we could hop on a flight and get out there. Yeah, but it's buzzing. I'd like the after dinner party.
We're coming out, Mike, we're on.
God, yeah. I got stuck with a bloke who was in wet concrete for 4 hours.
I could already slip in there. Looking, oh god, that concrete looks a bit green.
Yeah, a bit green. Yeah, I remember the terminology. Yeah. Anything you need.
And I can talk about frost depth as well now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm already in.
Frost.
So the next pins to go on the map will be Canada then.
Oh, well, that's really cold up there, Trevor. I'll warn you now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I lived there for a while. It was definitely
Been to
cold.
Newcastle yesterday. It's colder than that.
Oh yes.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd have to have your instructions printed in French as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got there's a few hurdles.
Yeah, that's it.
Talking of stuff that's cold, this might be a nice segue to give us a little, a little chance to have a little break. Thinking of the cold things, I think Rick's been warming himself up recently, but in order to find out what he's been up to, we'll have to go over to see what Rick's been doing. So find out what Rick's been up to.
Rick's Tool Time.
Hello and welcome to Rick's Tool Time. Today we're going to take a look at the Metabo heat gun. It's the HG18 LTX 500. Let's put this together. Within the box they supplied us with an 18 volt 4 amp hour battery, and on the back, like most batteries, there's an LED or a level indicator on the back there. So we pop that in. If we press the pop button here, if there's insufficient power it will flash, and if it's also incompatible it will flash as well. And there's a number of accessories that you can get for the gun. We've been sent the spot heating nozzle, and also we've got a heat shrink nozzle, which is the one we're going to be using today. Also on the back you've got two temperature ranges, 300 or 500, and it's easily changed just by flicking these across. If I just fire it up, you'll see it's on the 300 setting, move across, we're on to 500. Right, let's strip these conductors back. So we've just taken off the neutral there, and we're also going to take off the line conductor. On the other end I've popped in some solder sleeves, just pop that in there. Now we're bringing in the Metabo. If you look closely you can see it start to shrink. We're just about getting to the point now where the solder is going to melt. Then what we're going to do is repeat that on the other side. As you can see there, we've got them both fused together and ready for the adhesive heat shrink to be put over the top. If we move in closer here, you'll be able to see some of the adhesive popping out of the end. There we go, done. So you've just seen me use two solder sleeves and then adhesive heat shrink. Let's try it on something a little bit bigger, shall we? Right, I've got a larger piece of heat shrink. Let's see how we get on here. Well, first thing I can see is it doesn't even go around, so let me take that off of there. Pop that like so, and then away we go. Right, it feels quite lightweight, does this, so I don't know, but let's see how it gets on. Got it set on the 500 degrees temperature at the moment. There we go, so it's going into turbo mode now. Let's keep working on this. Nearly there. And I think we're there. Sorted. But if we take a look at the battery, it's almost dead. We've got another 2 phases to do on this. Not sure that it's going to work. It's not going to last. To summarise, I think this thing's only good for melting the cheese on your toast or possibly drying your hair. But what does it matter what I think? Is it great or is it a gimmick? Get your vote in and let me know. But till next time, I'll see you on the flip side. Ta-da.
Regs to all time.
There we go. And as Rick says, he wants your opinion now, actually. So we've even got a slide for this, bit of audience participation.
Gives you a great chance of getting the register, which is still going to come up later on in the show.
If you want to mention, get a comment in. Do you think we've got our little graphic there? We've got another one here.
Okay.
So what we'll do now, we've got 60 seconds to get in the comments if you think that's a great product, and we're on about the Metabo heat gun, not the solder sleeves. We'll come on to them in a bit. Or you think it's a gimmick. And while that's coming down, Trevor, you've got the job to summon the thing.
Oh, it's time for the tool from above. Get on your knees, young Trevor. Want you down on your knees, young man. And then you must use the word tool and try and encourage the bag from above to come down. So it says tool. You can do it, Trev. That's a good start. That was, Trev. That was nice and loud, Trev. Nice and loud.
Cooling it down.
Oh, Trevor. It's withdrawn itself. And again.
There we go.
Yeah, 4 out of 10 for that one. Okay, let's have a look then. Whip it out of the bag. I think according to Rick, it's good for browning off the cheese on your toasty, is what it is. How's the battery looking now?
2 bars.
2 bars, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking for your comments. Is it great? Is it a gimmick? And then we'll allow Trevor and Dean to obviously position it on the board behind us.
I think if you can hear that on the mic, that might be a giveaway.
I think.
No,
Hold it down and don't point it at your face, especially when I'm behind you.
not with that much hairspray on. So, yeah, it'll go all of a sudden. It's like a jet engine. Wait for it.
It'll rev up.
You're on the taxiway. Wait for it. Wait
Ready?
for it.
I can hear it.
Here it comes.
Go on.
Absolutely. Here it goes. It's going.
Oh, here it goes.
Ready?
There you go. Now you're going. Now you're off to Benidorm. Yeah.
You're hurtling down the runway.
I'm not sure we're going to take off. You're going to have to pedal faster.
Yeah. Angel's breath. Is it? As Gordon would say. Is it like warm?
I mean, I think, obviously, I'm not going to slant people here. I think people think it's a bit of a gimmick. I think that's definitely coming through. And if you'd looked in the background in Rick's video there, you would have seen the Steinel mains-powered heat gun in the back, which reliably delivers 1.5 kilowatts of hot air.
Because we were concerned it wouldn't make the shrinking. So
Well, we tried there's an alternative manufacturer, makes red power tools with
Do
a
they?
white logo.
Do they?
Yeah, they make a similar one, and we tried it on the heat shrink when we were doing the EV charger outside, and we soon had to bring an extension lead out.
Yeah. The ambient temperature. Yeah. The ambient temperature wasn't helping it. So maybe it's only 3 days a year you can use it outside.
So it looks a bit again, but the thing on solder sleeves. So right now, obviously the hierarchy of commenters on the on YouTube. Yeah, you've obviously got we're electrician commenters. We're used to dealing with. You know, to put good, robust comments and the spirited debate goes on when you put a video out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a humble electrician, maybe.
Humble electricians, people like that, we know that, yeah. But then that next, if you touch a data cable, brings in your data installers. Yeah. Have you ever met data installers? Yeah. You know that? I mean, there's a hierarchy of needs, yeah. Then imagine, yeah, there's the people above that, and that's the people who do soldering. Yeah. Now they're quite nasty, aggressive people. So imagine you've just done a video where you'd used data cable, electrical video using data cable with a solder sleeve onto it. Yeah. Oh, the comments that are coming in on that one. And there's been
most of them personal.
Most of it, yeah. So there's they've only just come out there. So I said, no, I've been using those for like 20 years. I said, ask Ray Chem who originally developed it. And someone's put in about trusting the reliability of them. Actually, solder sleeves, there's a military standard behind them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not going to put up with anything failing, are they?
Yeah. So normally if there's a military part number behind it, they've been trusted in challenging conditions. So people just see it as a bit Heath Robinson, don't you? Just put it over the top there and blast it with a heat gun, but there's a real proper military.
Or the Metabo.
Well, I think they work a lot better with a heat gun that's got some power.
Masquerading as heat gun.
Yeah.
As Sean Dempsey just said, it's got a whiff of the wife's hairdryer about it, yeah. It probably has, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so Trevor, now you've got the job to put it on our tool wall behind us here.
And we go from the bottom here, right down here where we can't see it, underneath Carl, okay, it's an absolute gimmick. As we move ourselves up, across, and to the top right-hand corner, it's 11. So if it goes to 11...
It's like superb.
Yeah, because it's better than 10, so it goes to 11. Now, we know straight away, without even thinking about it, not even without even looking at the votes, that it's probably only going to meet halfway at the board because you're vertically challenged. So it's never going to get to 11, just due to the fact you can't get it to 11. So if it was the best thing in the world...
Hey, look, Ramo steps round here. I can get up the top.
And you get his name right, it's Nick Raymond. Nick Raymond. Now, not to know your own name when asked for a security password or the date of birth of your daughter could get you in a bit of problems. So if your name's Nick Raymond and you don't know your daughter's birthday, you're not getting in. So, somewhere from the middle to the bottom, within your comfort zone, okay, you're going to decide now, with Dean's help, hopefully, where it's going to go. So down there's a total gimmick. Up there, it goes to 11.
On the wall already. I mean, that's got to be down here.
Pains me to say, I like Metabo kit, but it's naff.
Yeah.
It's naff. So
that's going right down the bottom, I'm afraid.
So again, Dean, can you pop it in there for me, Dean? We're going to be under there.
No, put it that way, I wouldn't put my money on it.
Yeah, we can see it over your shot. I like that. Yeah, so it's still in shot.
We're underneath Carl.
Yeah. Okay. Carl's got his own board. Now he can warm himself mildly up on a Metabo, but not for very long, I wouldn't suggest, because the battery wouldn't have done 3 ends, according to Rick, after he'd done the first one, did the first soldering, did the first end on the big cable. He didn't think it'd do 2 more.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame, that.
Again, so let's thank Rick. You know, Rick's tool time, it's going to be, it's baked in now, and we thank Rick for his time and effort. We know that his mum also likes watching it. His mum also likes sharing it with friends as well. And they're all in on the Rick process. So if you manage to watch Rick's tool time and get to this bit, we love him too down here at eFIXX. Fantastic. Right, Gordon, where would you like to go now? We're going to have a dive into the comments, because people have probably been commenting. Is there anything in there that's caught your fancy on the way through?
Yeah, I mean, it's a gimmick. Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks it's not
It's the weight of it. If you, it's like there's no weight. Have you handled it, Dean? You feel the weight of that for the. Oh, that's a big battery, isn't it? Not.
You having the chair?
I mean, it's all right, but it's just not. It's firing.
There's nothing in there.
It's not fit for doing heat shrink on cables, is it? I mean, that's not fit for purpose for that. So.
That's got a torch. The only problem is when that comes on, it drains the battery immensely quickly because of all the heat the torch gives off. Yeah, so.
Even like the testing, they must have tested, surely.
Sure, you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Perhaps it's there. Perhaps that's the bit you're meant to be doing. Perhaps you warm it on the torch. It's down here in order to get it. It's absolutely. You can't. It's not even there, is it?
Right. I mean, that is going to be a bad Saturday morning when you get that out of the van.
Well, creating heat from batteries isn't there? So, yeah.
No, it's not. It's primary function. We know that on coffee machines.
But you're after some distributors, Trevor. Is that right? In the far-flung parts of the world.
Yeah. So as well as extending that producer network in the States, we're going to be looking for distribution partners to put EV blocks in the hands of contractors.
Right. So anyone on the network who knows somebody
It's kind of one of those.
Electrical contractors.
Yeah. And there's some big distributors out in the States. Obviously, there's massive land mass out there.
I'll help you out there, Trevor, because I used to have this policy when I was doing a bit of business development out there. I used to do all the M places. Yeah.
All right.
Anywhere with an M, I've got Melbourne, Mauritius, Maldives, Mumbai even. Quite nice. So I'll help you out there.
Yeah, I like it. A bit of sunshine. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And I used to have someone who did the I places: Iraq, Iran. Yeah. So.
Oh dear. Yeah. Oh man.
But go for the hot countries first.
Yeah.
See, I can already see what you've done. The great places to visit in America you've got covered. You've left it where nobody lives. Canada's cold. Someone else can do it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I like Canada. It's a nice place, Canada is. There's a lot of open space of not a lot in between.
Not at this time of year, Trevor. Go on the summer.
It's interesting that the world is of one, isn't it? We've cycled in. The pair of you have met through through products, through obviously you took the opportunity for EV, you took the opportunity for EV. And it's such a nice community, and whenever we go to those shows that are around the EV world, it's a completely different feel maybe to some of the other shows we go to as well. It seems that it's almost like the Google of our industry, and everyone's excited, young, enthusiastic, and all the rest of it. Obviously we're not, but obviously the people that go there other than us are in that position, so it's good to see. And
very fast-paced, I mean super fast-paced. And battery storage has come on so quickly with solar. You know, people like Sam over Renewables, he's really leaned into the solar and the battery storage part, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Sees opportunity. Sees opportunity.
More of that to come. Do you find that, Dean? People want to help. Obviously, you must have competitors. As a sort of big contract comes up, there's a few sort of...
It's not really that way, to be honest, in the EV world. Like, it's like we all want to work together and help each other out to get to that goal, I suppose.
Yeah.
Of just zero emissions
And anyone who's been around EV understands it's not straightforward. You're digging holes, putting foundations, inducting. No. It all takes a while and a bit of...
It was easy.
It's all right when you get the go ahead.
It's like for the installation side, for electricians as installers that want to venture into charge points. Yeah. They sort of go, DC, because I hear it, but get involved with it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like because.
DNOs, paperwork.
We ain't like for the installers out there. We ain't going to do it all. We ain't going to get to that goal. We ain't going to achieve it. We need as many people on board to get to that point. Right? So we just got to all work together to get to that end point. Otherwise, we're just not going to achieve it. Yeah. It's all right, great. They ain't doing that, but you jump on board with us, help us out, help us get to that level, I suppose. Yeah.
Unstoppable. It's going that way. But there's lots of people that think it's never going to happen. 2014, you thought it was going to happen. Yeah, you're a super early adopter. It's going to happen. It's unstoppable.
So you're sticking in EV. You're not going into solar, battery.
No.
You're not scared of heights, are you?
No, I'm sticking to EV. Right. I put a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
And so,
you build up. We
had our suspicions, because we had Mark Allenson on a few weeks ago, and he's Yorkshire's leading flat roof solar specialist because he's scared of heights. He'll only do one story that's flat.
He will. He will do. So while you're looking at the comments, I think because people have been trying to comment, we ought to go over and see who's watching. Therefore, it must be time for the register. Shall we do the register? So while you're doing the comments, let's go and see our good friends over there. Got their own brilliant segments that are better than the main show. So let's go and see Rick and Joe.
So it is that time again. Hello everyone, and welcome to the register. And we have got sound this week, so that is a great start. I'll get straight into it. So this is where I take a deep breath and begin from the top in no particular order. We've got Sean Dempsey, Sean the Spark, Carl Robson, Terry Moore, Ben Evison, Gifford's Electrical, Mark the Sparky Allison, Early Years Learning is Fun, Chris Oswin the Sparky, Aaron, Stephen Skillen, Oliver Dawson, Sergio Fernandez, James Kane, Short Circuit, Richard Cockerline, Jolly Fine Quality, Neil Flavin, Billy Torrey, Gadget Man, Paul Elcock, Jamie Blatant, PDKH, James Kernow, Chris Tastic 100, Jim Rugg, Jack 888, DAE, 7up Sam, Oriel Zobe, Matt Telford, G6 Electrical, Artisan Electrics, and Chris Horn. Should we do the prizes while we're here?
Well, yeah, go on, let's fire in.
It's your show, apparently.
So we had the GT time, and Dean got 3 minutes 14 on the challenge, and he was the quickest out of the two. And someone got the time exactly, and that person was Steve Skillen, who got 3 minutes 14. So if you go to the link in the description, get involved tab on the website, fill out the form, and we'll get a prize to you soon.
Nice one. Stephen. 414.
414. It's the wrong number.
Time's wrong, my bad.
Right, okay. There's always something in there when it comes to this. Brilliant. So thank you very much, Joe. Yeah, I had more technical difficulties. Yeah, we've got it all going on now. We're not doing new people to the stream, Rick. So that's something you used to do. Is there an issue there with people that were new to the stream?
What's this? Sorry, what?
Well, it's the part of the show where you go, I'll read out all the people who are first-time viewers, that thing.
No, we're having issues with the software, the supercomputer.
Okay, supercomputer issues, is it?
So
did the computer say no?
It
says no.
Well, George just covered them all.
Oh, is he?
He's just mixed them all in. He's getting good now.
We'll do a bit of that then.
So they might have missed a few, like.
Now, you might be thinking, I've got my shout out in the register, it's time to lurch off. But we've got another new thing at the end of the show. Oh, no, so we've done that one. Yeah, that might mean that you get another mention. You might have also been attributed a job. And you might see over the coming weeks how different names appear in there with different job roles. So if you want to make sure you see the very fun bit at the very end of the show, you might have a nice surprise if you're a regular watcher of our live streams. So that's pretty good, isn't it? Have you got any comments for me?
People are getting obsessed with heat shrink now. I think we need to do more on heat shrink.
We've said that loads of times, haven't we? We have said that loads of times.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's
reason those soldering people like it. Not really. Ever since you put that video out,
you can't solder.
Traumatised.
Yeah. I must apologise for that. I was trawling through some footage. I think I had a day working from home, and I was determined to make as many short formatted videos as I can from stuff we already had. So I think I set myself a target of doing 10. I probably got 8 done. And I found a brilliant video. I didn't know because I'm no good at soldering. I'm useless at soldering. We've seen that in a different video. And I found a video of you soldering. It looked great to me. So whipping along with a bit of solder, put it in, put some music to it. I think I released it without you knowing as well, and it was absolutely awful when it looked like you shorted them out and all sorts, and you'd done it. Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? Was it your best work?
It wasn't my best work. You needed to put it in context if you'd watched the whole video.
But yeah, that would have helped. But not many people have viewed it, have they? How many people are we up to now across all platforms? Maybe
about 7 million now.
Just on YouTube though. I've let it go elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't look at the comments on TikTok.
No, I think it's got a whiff of 10 million.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 million people have decided. Most of them decided you can't sold worth a toffee.
Yeah, and I've got shaky hands as well.
Yeah. Normally,
I know how you feel. I had that yesterday.
No, Trevor, there's a different. You were like, the camera was like a few foot away from you. When you try to solder and the camera's there, a minor movement, looks like you've got a medical condition.
But the problem is back then I had a bit of I've still got.
Shake.
Yeah, I shake a lot. So I'm the cameraman, so I'm vibrating at the wrong. Yeah, if we can resonate together, we'd be all right, wouldn't we? But yeah, Gary's bouncing away as well. He's got double shakes. Yeah. So yeah, 10 million people think you can't solder, which is a nice place to be. It's all good. So,
yeah.
We'll love all that. So just a couple of bits for me. I'm going live again on Monday with my great mate Marcus, who's our stand-in presenter for the live streams that we do at 12:30 on a monthly basis, and this time it's on the 27th, Monday the 27th, and we're live from Doncaster Cables. We're going to see #Above who's been a great friend of the show and a supporter of the channel as well. We're going down there because I want to find out how you can put a Cat 5 cable inside of a mains voltage cable, and these are some pictures that you wanted to bring up as in this presentation as well, isn't it? About those.
Yeah, I mean,
so let's bring them in. So again, if you want to know from the horse's mouth, or in other words, Aaron's mouth, whether we can or can't do it, it'll explain the thinking behind it, along with I think I'm going to have a look at low smoke, no halogen cables as well.
I think he said he's going to set that, make sure that production's running.
Oh, that's something else.
You can have a look
around
that.
Yeah, we're going to have a look around at another cable being made. I've got some photographs for me with like eFIXX now. Have we not brought those in as assets? Here we go, there it is.
Yes.
How was that allowed? That's what I want to know.
That was another one of those innovations, isn't it? We're moving forward, a great idea, but flying in the face of what everyone's been taught by you for years.
Yeah, but again, and again, for me though, I think it's probably the last 18 months, it's been Cable of the Year. That cable has made its presence on social media like no other cable for me. Okay, so that's brilliant. And we're going to find out how you can put Band 1 and Band 2 that close together when we speak to them. And that's on Monday, and I want all electricians to join in. If you can't watch it live, catch it up afterwards, because your comments will help people train in our electrical industry. And we're over there seeing them, as well as low smoke cable and some other bits and bats. So
if you know anyone who's a data installer, get them to pile in on the comments.
I
love that.
Yeah, they can personally direct it at me, maybe, as well. So that's another, great innovation.
I have to explain that all the time when we show that cable. It's like, people go, I'm a data installer. We wouldn't use that in a data centre. It's like, look, we're not putting Amazon on the end of this cable. It's an EV charge, and all it's got to do is tell the person to switch on and how much power it's using. It's not,
It's not streaming TV down it.
We're not off to Mars on it. We're not launching a rocket mission. It's like, wow. Yeah, and then that hack of obviously being able to use the cable for the data and the CT, splitting off those spare pairs, that gets them angry as well.
Yeah. But it does what it says on the tin. And we'll find out from Aaron, again, that's Monday, 12:30, and I've got my great mate Marcus joining me for that one, so that should be good fun. He's looking forward to it. He's like a kid. He's never been to Doncaster Cable. He said, well, we get to see cables being made. We're going to actually film some footage of a cable we haven't seen made, because I've been and seen EV Ultra being made, Twin and CPC or Twin and Earth cable being made. I've had Conduit being made down at Marshall Tufflex, fantastic, and Mini Trunking. I think there's another one in that series coming up. I think I'll see another cable being made, add that to another series and see how that's done.
You ever seen cable being made? Never been?
No, I'd love to. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not hinting, but I'm just, yeah, love to.
You could always watch this channel. Maybe some of the videos we've made. Yes.
Trevor, you ever been?
No, I haven't.
No?
Like Dean, you know, all the stuff that goes into our industry is interesting to see how it goes together.
Yeah. And it's British. It's got the British flag on it as well. They're British cable maker. You need to support the people that make this place great. So that's it. So I'm seeing Aaron and me good mate Marcus on Monday.
We'll have to do a coach trip to Doncaster Scale sometime.
Yeah.
Christmas special. Yeah.
I wanted to do a live from there, as in from inside the factory. It's too noisy. We'd have to do it at night like now, but obviously we're going to be doing it from one of the offices, I would imagine, decked out in no doubt whatever they can deck it out for us.
Yeah, and I mean that's interesting because in next time on the live stream we've got MK coming to see us.
Yeah.
It was a product called Connected Power.
Oh, you're gone there already. You've gone early.
Yeah, which is a very interesting. It's a socket, but it's like no other socket you've seen. And it's got a feature that electricians will actually love on it, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so there you go.
Well, I'm intrigued. I might tune in. Is that in 2 weeks?
Love, not.
Is this something that Gordon would love? Does it come up on a smartphone as well?
Oh, it's got apps. Oh, don't worry. It's
This
like
is a whole shooting match.
Oh, no. We're into BMS for this, Trevor. This is heavy stuff, this. And that's coming up. But, and that's in the next visit.
Yeah,
and
2
then
weeks.
after that, I think we're just waiting for confirmation. We'll have Basic actually coming along. We're trying to get Basic to talk about cables, approvals.
I imagine the words SY will be jumping in there, or letters.
All
SY
those things. Yeah, again, that's an area where there's probably huge scope for innovation. But as Aaron says, in Doncaster Cables, it's hard to get standards changed in cable for this country because there isn't many cable manufacturers.
Ah, right, okay.
Try and convene people to set standards as like
Yeah.
Aaron round the table.
Yeah.
And that's because there isn't enough manufacturers.
No.
That's good.
Just wait till a concrete block standard comes out. The Americans are going to try and insist that the standard, it should be the standard.
There
metric
are
rubbish.
there are precast standards that these will be made too in the States.
Right.
Is there a
UL?
conference we can go to?
Is there a UL number?
No, ours is concrete foundation.
Yep.
So inside of that, we expect the electrical contractors to be using UL approved equipment, so UL conduit, UL junction boxes to pass through.
Lovely.
Then why do you UL approve a piece of concrete that you've mixed up on site yourself? No.
It's all right, Trevor, you're going to get it. You're going to get
That time, is it?
Actually, speaking of popcorn, actually, well, yeah, have a little trip out on Sunday, Gary.
Did you? What? Mid-morning? Early afternoon?
Well, pop to the Lake District. You
I
know.
feel left out here, Dean.
Yeah, sorry.
Have you been
your
to the
story.
Lake District, Trevor?
Once upon a time, yeah.
Yeah, you like it up there?
It's nice, pretty.
What do you remember?
Banging in really long earth rods.
You start sentences in really risky ways. You were banging in earth rods, yeah?
For some EV chargers, I think we were 2 or 3 earth rods in. It was a long day.
Yeah. You've never been on holiday there? Yes.
I'm going.
I didn't go back after that.
Yep.
Pretty.
Dean, have you ever been to the Lake District?
I am.
No.
No? No. Have you imagined what it's like?
Yes.
Yeah, sort of pretty.
Yeah.
Place you'd go during the day, have a look at the hills, lakes. Gary, you're going?
Yeah, going for my wife's 50th birthday. We're having Boxing Day with you. That was nice of you to invite us over. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. R doesn't know yet. She probably does now. So yeah, we're coming over. That'll be good. Play a little bit of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Love it.
You're going to go out during the day?
Oh yeah. Night time it gets a little bit. Obviously, we're going to winter. My wife's birthday's around Christmas. We like to, 3, 4 o'clock. Little glass of wine. 6 o'clock, we're in the hot tub, chilling out. Love it. Pitch black dark. Fantastic. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yourself? So you've been recently?
I went last Sunday.
Yeah. You said so. I said. Did you go morning, mid afternoon? Was it a Sunday lunch?
No. South. Just it was gone dark. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Any reason?
George phoned me. He'd lost his keys. He's kind of been walking up there in the day, bit of sightseeing with his girlfriend. Lost his keys.
What? Sort of. I don't know what. Fell outside of his car. Were they sort of under a wheel arch or?
Not many street lights up there, though, is there? So once
Right.
you've lost something in the dark,
Where do you think he lost them?
well, somewhere in the Lake District.
He was caving earlier on in the day, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you spend much time hunting through the cave?
I think he'd done the route a few times before he rang me, so there must have been some desperation to it. And the only problem was obviously I drive electric, so I'd already been out in the morning, yeah. So I thought, well, I've got enough mileage just to do as a couple of days, yeah. And yeah, but obviously I didn't do that. So unexpected trip to the Lake District, which at night you can't actually see a lot, yeah. You can't. It's dark and there's no street lights. I'll trip out into complete blackness at night, yeah.
Searching for a silver Fiesta.
Got there, obviously no mobile phone signal. So I didn't know, I had visions of Joe being trapped on the hill somewhere waiting for me because he couldn't get into his car, freezing to death. Yeah. And where is he? Yeah. Managed to track him down. He was in the pub.
Oh.
Where else would you expect a young lad to be?
He wasn't drinking, no, because he's started to drive his car back. But,
Well, no.
He's in having something
warm.
Yeah, nourishment, no doubt, taken on board.
Yeah.
But the nourishment, his popcorn's absolutely delicious.
Obviously, by the time I got there, I didn't have enough charge to get home, did I? So I then had to spend. There's not many DC fast chargers up there either, Trevor, because of those earth rods.
That's right.
Opportunity.
Opportunity.
Opportunity, lads.
Yeah.
Well, the fastest one I could find was a 40 kilowatt, which is fast-ish, but still an hour out of your Sunday night. You think...
It's a shame because I think last time we went live and we did Caught Off Camera, which stars Joe as the lead presenter, I think he lent into the fact that it's been over a year that since he dropped his mobile phone down the toilet with a lot of passwords for eFIXX that we had to rekindle and a lot of photographs and videos we never got back.
Yeah.
And he said, didn't he? He clearly said that it's over now. We've got to draw a line under it. And I agree with that because as I look down here and I'm thankful to see that I've got my keys. They were sticking in my pocket earlier on, so I got them out. But I think we found a new one. I think we found something new to mention, haven't we?
Yeah, but obviously just to remind people, that wasn't any toilet, you know. This is not just M&S. Yeah. You know? That was a chemical toilet at a rock fest, at a music festival. Sorry.
And I wouldn't imagine it was the first thing to go down that toilet, was it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that phone didn't come back.
No.
So there we go. So we've got at least another year on the lost keys.
Yeah. Saga of the lost keys. Amount of times now you hear shouting across the... Yeah. Has anyone seen the keys for the... Oh, they're here. It's like, Joe, have you seen the keys for the unit? Oh, no, they're here. Yeah. How you doing, Joe? You all right over there?
Lost them as well, haven't I?
So have you done anything to stop it from happening again?
Well, we've equipped everyone now with Apple AirTags. Yeah, they're everywhere now. We're
Look at your keys. Let's come over and have a look at your keys.
And the problem was, I went caving. I was looking for a single black car key in a black cave, so... I mean, what are you meant to do?
How long did you look for it?
How long? I spent about 3 hours looking for it, and the walk originally was only like 1.
Here
we go.
Let's have a look. So, yeah. So, at any point during the hunt, did you think that Gary might really enjoy the fact you couldn't find your keys?
That was the first thing I thought of, actually, Guy.
You're the gift that keeps on giving, aren't you? Okay, back in. So that's fantastic. So that was popcorn time, wasn't it? Another little Remember, stay on to the end. Some of you are going to get a nice surprise in the end credits as well.
I think we're nearly there. I mean, I think...
Back in 2 weeks, aren't we?
Back in 2 weeks. Obviously, thank our sponsors.
Yeah, we'd like to thank the great people at the Lasico Group. We'd like to thank those. We'd like to thank Doncaster Cables, which we will be with at Monday, going live at 12:30 from there, looking at the EV Ultra cable. We'd like to thank our lovely friends down in, and let me get it right, they were down...
Hastings.
It was. I went there on Christmas. Well, I'm terrible. It's Hastings, which is Marshall Toughlex, where we've seen PVC conduit and we've seen also mini trunking and also a chance still to do the CPD to win a experience day out in it till the end of the month.
Caving in the Lake District's up there, I think. So, yeah.
What, Keeve hunting?
Yeah. And of course, Gary forgot Luden
I didn't forget
Palazzoli.
anyone. Luden Palazzoli. Yeah. Giovanni. Fastest man in a pair of leather shoes.
Yeah.
So absolutely fantastic for those for supporting the live streams. We're back in 2 weeks. Obviously, we're back again on Monday. There'll be some videos out over the weekend as well, and we've got some great content coming out as we move into the weekend.
Yep.
So look out for all of those. If you watched it live, we thank you for your time. So thank you for staying on to the very end, and it's worth staying on to the very end as you see our closing segment. And if you've watched this on Catch Up again, please leave your comments. It could drive us through to other videos or other talking points in our next live stream in 2 weeks. So thank you very much.
Obviously, thank you to our guests. Trevor and Dean, obviously.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, that's Dean's had he's had a mammoth trip. He's travelled up this morning. He's travelling all the way back to Essex tonight.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
With only the euphoria of 3 minutes and 14 to keep you awake, eh? Yeah.
Yes.
Trev, how far are you going tonight?
To the pub up the road.
Okay, yeah. Your time, I'd suggest you be asleep before you get there. 4 minutes, 21 seconds. It's been brilliant. Thank you ever so much for everyone who's joined us, but please stay on for what is possibly the best segment of the night.